Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to go ahead and upload this video today if I can get it up. And yeah, I wanted to go ahead and do a prenatal pregnancy update. I've already tried to do this a couple times and had to stop, so we'll see how the kids go. I am 11 weeks today. They're saying due date of 4/15/2022. So we'll see. My babies do usually come a little early, so I'm figuring a couple weeks early would be April 1st, which would be kind of ironic seeing as how it's April Fool's Day. So I don't know. My app that I uploaded on my phone had given me some dimensions saying that the baby is 2.13 inches long and 0.49 ounces. And they compared it to a plum. And then it's funny because you can also change it to an animal. And they compared it to a hummingbird. And then you could change it to sweets. And they compared it to a macaroon. So I didn't know all those things were about the same size, but I guess they are. Some background on us. This is my 8th pregnancy. I am 41 years old. So I'm fairly healthy. I feel like I'm really healthy. I don't take any medications. I do take prenatal vitamins now. And I take some other vitamins here and there as needed. Upping different vitamins that I feel fit for different seasons. But at this point, I'm 11 weeks, and I do have an ultrasound picture I'll show you at the end. And then hopefully I can maybe show you my bump. I'm not sure how that'll go. I'm not the best at showing my belly, like my bump. Some things that I had wrote down. I wrote a bunch of different stuff down. It's not in any particular order, so if I'm bouncing around, I'm sorry. I was just trying to write stuff down that I could think of so that I wouldn't just be going down all these rabbit trails. I figure once I kind of go down this list, then I can figure that I've talked about pretty much everything that I felt the need to talk about. Weight gain, I haven't gained anything. If anything, I've lost a couple pounds. I'm not really concerned about that at this point. I'm really not concerned about it at all because I truly don't gain a lot compared to most women, I guess, or at least the women that I've talked to. But I think that a couple pounds in the beginning is just kind of a normal thing. Your body's adjusting, the baby's starting to take nutrition different ways, you know. Obviously the baby's super tiny, so it doesn't seem like it would be like, you know, making me have a bump. Obviously I have a bump. Of course, you know, I have a bump all the time after having, you know, this is my 8th pregnancy, so after having kids you kind of, well, I guess some people don't. I've seen some girls that do not have a bump after they've had children, but anyways, most people have a little bump after having some children. But and that's fine. It's part of life, whatever. I haven't had any major issues, I wouldn't say. I feel like there's a few things that I'm going to kind of keep to myself at this point that's just kind of added a little bit of stress. Maybe I can update on that later, but at this point I don't feel that I should share that stuff at this point. But the issues that have popped up was that my HCG levels were high. Of course, I've had multiple children, but never really had that issue. So I asked, of course, you know, what does that mean? They said it could be one of two things. I could be further along than what I think I am, or I can be carrying multiples. Well, I went and got the ultrasound last week. I was about maybe it was a little longer than a week, almost 2 weeks now. Anyways, it was, they said 9 weeks, 5 days, which is exactly where I thought I was. So, pretty much this time I feel like I'm pretty spot on. I don't necessarily know the exact date that we conceived, but I do know that July's cycle was a regular cycle, and I didn't skip or, have a light cycle or anything like that. So, another thing that I think are normal things during the first trimester is normal things that I feel like are in every person's first trimester is obviously going to the bathroom. I feel like, yeah, yeah. I go to the bathroom a little bit more often, especially at night. I feel like that's when it's most annoying. I'm not really wanting to get up to go to the bathroom, but I have found that if I don't get up, I become more nauseous. And so here's my issue with that too. We still co-sleep. Now, when I say co-sleep, when he falls asleep, I do try to move him and put him in his crib. And he will sleep. But when he wakes up, initially, I do bring him back into my bed. So if he is... Oh, and he's nursing too, by the way. So my youngest is 1.5 years. This is actually the closest gap that we've had with all of our kids. It's actually just a little bit closer because our first 3 were 2 years almost to the day apart. So he breastfeeds, and I get him back to sleep, but he's in our bed. So if I'm gonna go to the bathroom and he wakes up, then I just bring him back to bed, and then I wait. Anyways, my bladder tells me you're not supposed to wait. So, obviously, even though the baby's so small, organs are still moving around, trying to make room for the baby, and, uterus is growing slowly and all that. So, bathroom trips are a little more frequent. Also, bathroom, I've just, recently thought about the fact that, constipation is obviously an issue during pregnancy, and this pregnancy, it's just really just now creeping its ugly face again. I'm dreading that part mainly because my last pregnancy, it wasn't even the constipation, and this could be TMI, but ladies, if you're on here trying to figure this out, I'm just being real. TMI, the hemorrhoid that I got in my last pregnancy was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. He was born, and I still carried around this crazy thing that I literally had to go to the doctor, get some medication, some cream thing. It's not a fun part of pregnancy, I can tell you that. So, Epsom salt baths definitely helped, but I am a mom of many, so baths are not as frequent as I would like. Not my last pregnancy, but the pregnancy before. I really enjoyed my baths, a lot, throughout my whole pregnancy. I was enjoying them. Really, each pregnancy, I really enjoy baths. It eases my back pain or my back tension. It also, obviously, with some Epsom salt in there, and I use essential oils too. So, and if you have any questions about what kinds, leave me a comment and I'll try to help you out. This is my first pregnancy that I'm seeing a chiropractor throughout. I have seen him once since I've been pregnant. I've seen him many, many times, but only once through this pregnancy. And I plan to continue seeing him. It's usually my lower back that starts, because my hips start, obviously your pelvic bones are widening throughout this whole process. What else? So, shortness of breath. I feel like I always get shortness of breath from the get-go, really. It's like my body's working really hard to grow a baby. So, or maybe it's just I'm more excited when I'm talking. I don't know. Maybe it's just a lot of mixture things, but I always have it. And it's not a bad thing. It's not really an issue. It's not like, oh, my lungs are hurting or my lungs feel like they have no any air. It's just the fact that I'm just shortness of breath. It's just kind of like I just have to take deeper breaths here and there. Tired. I'm starting to get a little bit more energy. At the beginning, I found myself wiped out all day. All day I was tired. And now I'm tired, but it's like I'm able to do a little bit more. And I'm glad, because when you're a mom of many, it's kind of like your house starts going downhill a little bit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm feeling my second trimester slowly creeping up, which is wonderful, because first trimester for me it's not really bad with symptoms as much as it is my mind. We had a miscarriage with our fourth pregnancy, and honestly, ever since then, with each one of my other pregnancies, I've felt really insecure for the first, really until I can start feeling the baby kick. Once the baby kicks, I feel a little bit better, because then I feel like I have not control over it, but I can keep track of it better. Where, in your first trimester, you're only seeing the doctor, extremely rarely, really. It's spread out. Now, with me being older and having multiple children, they do have me being seen a little bit more. So therefore, I do hear the heartbeat more, or I do, see an ultrasound a little bit more. But in between each appointment is rough. It's like, is the baby doing okay? So the first trimester is rough on my mind. The third trimester is rougher when it comes to my body. I feel like that's when I'm really nauseous. I've run out of room. The baby is like pushing my food out of me, I guess. I don't usually get sick, but I feel like I could be sick, or I might have, a couple of episodes where I get sick. But truly, it's just a matter of out of breath, being tired, and because my hips by that point, my back and my hips, now I'm hoping this time around is a little bit different because of the fact that I will be going to a chiropractor, so that part of it I'm hoping will be a little bit easier. Now, with my last pregnancy, he was very low, and I feel like maybe it's the multiple children thing, but I feel like it sits lower, so I do use a belly band. I haven't started yet. I usually start that in my second trimester at some point, where I just kind of feel like that's what's needed. At this point, I think I'm doing okay. No, buddy. No. And, so, now, my last pregnancy, I actually, obviously COVID was going on, and, whatever the world is going through right now. So I thought to myself, back in 2020 when I had him, I did not want to go through another, what they would call a pandemic pregnancy. Now, with that being said, I'm not worried about the pandemic at this point. I'm not stressing about that. My thing is, it definitely changes the dynamics when you're going to a hospital or a doctor's office. So, and I'm more natural minded, so I wish that I could just do a lot more at home rather than going in all the time. But again, with my age and my multiple children, it seems to be, I guess, the best case. Headaches. I haven't had horrible headaches this time around, but again with this one, last time I remember, drink as much as I can possibly drink, just constantly be drinking, because the less you drink, the more more prone you are to a headache. Also this time around, I've noticed I give up pretty much all caffeine when I get pregnant, and the problem with this is I have noticed that I needed to keep and I only do unsweet tea, so and then I was doing some Dr. Pepper before I got pregnant, so I dropped all Dr. Pepper, obviously. I'm not doing any soda, but the tea, I went to decaffeinated unsweet tea, which isn't a big deal. I don't taste any different, whatever. But I did notice that I would get a headache if I went a whole day without having at least one that had caffeine in it. So now I've been trying to do at least 1 cup, and I try to do it earlier in the day so that it's not right before bed, because diet, okay, so I get acid reflux at night, especially if I have that. Plus, it seems to make me have to go to the bathroom a lot more too. Breast tenderness is a big deal. It was last time too. My last pregnancy, I breastfed up until 2 months before I had him. She had turned 3, and so that's where we stopped. And she was fine with it. I was fine with it. We both felt good about it. He is now only 1.5 years, so I'm not sure that we'll be stopping before I have the baby. I'm not sure how this is all going to work now. We're going to play it by ear. We're going to play it by whatever. We'll see how it goes. But breast tenderness is a real thing. And it's even more like I never thought I would be touched out, but I literally get touched out. And it's painful at times to breastfeed. I haven't had any major food cravings, really. I actually, during pregnancy, I usually crave things that are more healthy, believe it or not. It's like veggies, just raw veggies. I have had some nasal congestion, which I think I get pretty much in every pregnancy too. It's not anything major, but I think that the last couple pregnancies, it's just been the fact that I go through fall, and fall seems to do it. Like, I don't know if it's allergies or what, but I know that my sinuses are kind of swollen during this time too. So, and I also have low blood pressure, which in turn, I have to be careful with the whole like bloody nose or something, which this time around I have not had anything so far. Now I have, with blood pressure, I've noticed when it goes too low, I start getting a headache, and I start feeling kind of crummy. So I have been trying to up my salt intake, and that sounds so backwards, but I'm not really a big salt eater, I guess. And so along with my thyroid, in order to keep it healthy, the iodine in the salt, and then having some salt here and there, actually is a decent thing for me, for my situation, I guess. Okay, buddy, you're not supposed to be up there. Come here. And then I think the other big thing is if I move too fast, things like that. Just like round ligament pain. Just things are, growing, and so it's some pain there. I have noticed that my patient level is a little bit lower, and I think with every pregnancy I get a little more vocal, and I think part of that is just God giving me a voice so that I can advocate for myself and for my child. And so I think that's not a bad thing. Um, so, other than that, I just wanted to say, I wanted to mention prodromal